Hey, it's Bill from HistoryHighlights.com. Hope you're having a great day. I want to share with you another Today in History feature. We're going to go over to the Library of Congress for this one to learn a little bit about John Smith, the president of Jamestown. Explorer, writer, and cartographer John Smith became the leader of the Jamestown settlement when he assumed the presidency of its governing council on September the 10th of 1608. The charismatic and controversial Smith initially had been excluded from the government of the settlement on charges of conspiracy to mutiny en route to Virginia. His comrades' suspicions notwithstanding, Smith became the de facto leader of the colony during that difficult winter of 1607 to 1608, when the settlement endured disease, starvation, and frequent Native American raids. A brash and boldly self-confident figure, Smith brought years of soldiering experience to the Virginia venture. While fighting the Turks in Transylvania, he was wounded, captured, and sold, he claimed, into slavery in Turkey. Smith reported that he eventually escaped after receiving assistance from a Turkish woman who had become smitten with him. And all of this, even before his adventures in America had begun. It was June the 2nd of 1608 when Captain John Smith and his 15-member crew launched their small, open boat from Virginia's Jamestown Island. That summer, the crew explored and mapped nearly 3,000 miles of Chesapeake waterways and came into contact with many native people in the region. All the while, they marveled at the woods, wetland, and waters teeming with life. Smith wrote in 1624 a bit of verse about this. Into the great, vast deep to venture out, those shallow rivers let them coast about, and by a small boat learn there first and mark, how they may come to make a greater bark. Smith, I tell you, Smith's reportage may not have been completely accurate, we don't know, but his importance in the survival of the Jamestown colony is undeniable. In Virginia, Smith oversaw the fortification of the fledgling settlement, explored and documented the Chesapeake region, and supervised the production of critically important maps. He approached the native Algonquin Indians with a realism blending wariness and respect, establishing trade relations that enabled the colonists to acquire food from them, and engaging them at different times in both friendly diplomacy and armed conflict. On June 22, 1607, John Smith and 5 other settlers signed a letter reporting on the status of the colony to the directors of the charter in England. In this excerpt, they expound upon the natural bounty of the land. They wrote, "We are set down 80 miles within a river, a channel so stored with sturgeon and other sweet fish as no man's fortune hath ever possessed the like. The soil is most fruitful, laden with oak, ash, walnut tree, poplar, pine, sweetwoods, cedar, and others, yet without names, that yield gums pleasant as frankincense, and experience amongst us for great virtue in healing green wounds and aches." It was December of 1607 when Captain Smith was captured and brought before Algonquin Paramount Chief Powhatan, head of the Powhatan Confederacy. Smith later described how Pocahontas, the chief's young daughter, saved his life by throwing herself between him and the warriors ordered to execute him. He wrote, "2 great stones were brought before Powhatan. Then as many as could lay hands on him," Smith, "dragged him to them, and thereon laid his head, and being ready with their clubs to beat out his brains, Pocahontas, the king's dearest daughter, when no entreaty could prevail, got his head in her arms, and laid her own upon his to save him from death, whereat the emperor, Powhatan, was contented he should live." The tale of Smith's rescue by the Indian princess Pocahontas first appeared in his own General History of Virginia, New England, and the Summer Isles, initially published in 1624, and has long since become part of American national mythology. Smith may have romanticized it. In any case, the events he describes, including Pocahontas' intervention, appear to resemble an initiation ritual familiar to many Native American groups. There is no doubt, however, of the important role Pocahontas subsequently played as an intermediary between her own people and the English, and as a protector of the latter. Like other 17th century British colonists, those in Virginia were actively encouraged to convert the native population. The Virginia Company's instructions to its governors required them to make conversion one of their objectives. Pocahontas herself was the most famous early convert. Captured for ransom by the English during a period of hostilities with the native inhabitants, she was baptized by the Reverend Alexander Whitaker after her father refused to ransom her and before her marriage to John Rolfe in 1614. Contrary to later fantasy, there is evidence of friendship, but none of romantic attachment between her and Smith. She later journeyed to England with her husband and young son and was presented as an honored princess to England's King James I and his royal court. She died at Gravesend, England, in March 1617 on the eve of the voyage that would have returned her to her native land. Released by Pocahontas' father, Smith himself went on to additional achievements. By September of 1608, driven to desperation by poor leadership, personal conflicts, and infighting, the colonists elected Smith president of their local governing council. Under his firm hand, the colony prospered. Its self-sufficiency increased and its death rate plummeted. In 1609, however, new leadership arrived from the Virginia Company in London to replace him. Injured in a gunpowder accident, Smith decided to return to England. In 1614, Smith made a successful voyage to Maine and the Massachusetts Bay. He mapped the coastline from all the way down that area to Cape Cod and named the region New England, both to promote it to future colonists and to reflect his conviction that there, in contrast to Virginia with its heat and high mortality, Englishmen might prosper in a land similar to their own. His plans for other colonizing and exploring ventures never came to fruition, and after 1617, Smith devoted himself to writing extensively about his adventures in North America and developing guidelines that proved essential, if unacknowledged, to New England's colonists. He never returned to Virginia or Massachusetts, and he died in 1631. There actually is a fresco in the United States Capitol depicting Captain Smith and Pocahontas, and there is a John Smith Memorial at Gamble Hill Park in Richmond, Virginia. A little bit about Captain John Smith today from us here at HistoryHighlights.com. Hope you're having a wonderful day. We look forward to talking to you again soon.